Hello, hello, hello. This is Tom from Tom and Ruth Philippine Adventures. Well, I have a lot of people asking about Starlink. Is it really good? Does it work? How about there in the Philippines? Is it something maybe you might think about? There's pros and cons, and we're going to go over that today. I did a video about this not long ago, but today we're going to talk about it more in depth a little bit and kind of answer a lot of questions that I've been asked and that I've actually had thought about it and reached out to a couple of people and how they have Starlink and if it's worked out for them. I purchased the system $600 plus, and it did not work for me. It just didn't work. No service. Anyway, we're going to go into details. Number one thing on the list is about 15 of these. The cost Starlink requires an upfront cost about $600, and it includes addition modem. Then you got to pay a monthly subscription fee, and so a lot of people may find this cost a little high. So some people will say, especially a lot of other internet options. Now, let me explain the internet options here. You have PLDT, you have Globe, you have Convergent, there's Sky Cable, there's GSAT, there's other ways of getting internet. Are they good? Scale 1 to 10, about a 3 to 5, depending. I've been lucky. I did find me a provider. He's a subcontractor to PLDT, Globe, Sky, CableNet, uh, Gomo, many companies out there. And what he does is if internet's down on one, he switches to another. If his internet's on that one, he switches to another. He's got a company, his go-to company is a company out of Hong Kong. They only give about 6.6, but it's fiber and it guarantees it. And it works. So when things aren't going well, that's what we do. We just do that. So that's beneficial for me. But anybody else in town are having problems. My brother-in-law, sister-in-law having problems. PLDT Globe. So the monthly prescription fee for Sky Starlink can be expensive. Around 100. The minimum's like 100 plus for Starlink, and it gives you about 5.5. And so that's what I found. But if it's cloudy sky, which is every day is cloudy sky, you don't have internet. If it rains, if a tree limb blows when the wind is down by the satellite, even if you put it on a fence, you have to have clear line of sight. And that means it's got to be a straight shot. You got to position it a certain way. I think it's south. And once you position it, you can get internet. Now, the fee is expensive, but here's something. There are positives to that. If you absolutely have no internet and you can get it and you're willing to pay about 150 to 170 a month, you can have Starlink and it'll work. A lot of people are doing that because they just can't get PLDT Globe to come out there, especially in the mountain. So there are Wi-Fi's, pocket Wi-Fi's that is good, but you find that most of those just really don't work well because the same companies, PLDT and Globe, they're the leaders. Converge is coming around out of Cebu. They're big. Skynet, Sky Cable. There's a company called Skynet, believe it or not. So the fee can get you limited availability. Starlink is still in the process of launching satellites, and it's expanding their coverage. It may not be available in all areas. So limiting this accessibility, you may have a problem finding access to it. And then, on the other hand, number 4 on the list is speed variability. Starlink can provide high speed, but the actual speeds by users can vary. Satellite congestion, weather conditions, rain, snow, storms affects it immensely. I am not kidding you. It's like there's not a cloud in the sky. Why don't I have internet? But then, on the other hand, there are days it's like 100. So it's not, but it's fast. So it just depends on the day, the situations. But if you have absolutely none, Starlink's a great company for to get someone if you don't have anything. But you got to pay $600 plus. Then they have other fees. They have some new weatherproof units you can stick outside, and it has a long cord to it. It's like 100 feet. You stick it 100 feet out. So if you have trees or debris or something in your way, you can actually put the Starlink outside. So latency, it's typically have higher latency compared to other types of internet, which can be a drawback, like gaming or video conferencing. So you're going to be in and out on your service, and which will drive your people if you have a meeting or something like that insane. They have data caps also on that. It has data caps in place, which means heavy internet users may find themselves running out of data at the end of the month. So what they do is, say for instance, they limit you to 30 gig. That's what the limit was on mine. So heck, I could run out of that first 2 weeks. So if that's the case, I'm paying $150 for that. So it's not beneficial for me. Luckily, I found this guy pay 30 bucks no matter if I use 100 gig or 500 gig. It doesn't matter if I'm gaming, and I can put 15 to 20 users on it. In fact, we have a peso net machine which allows up to 10 users. Plus, we have 10 users in the house sometimes because family, and never any problem with latency. So find a provider, take your time. The best is ask around for a subcontractor. Don't depend on PLDT and Globe. Ask your tricycle drivers for a subcontractor that sells internet. That is the best thing to do. If you want to have good internet, ask the tricycle drivers, listen, I need to find a subcontractor that does internet, not PLDT. I don't want Globe. I don't want to get in a 3-4 year contract. Converge gives you 3 years. A lot of these companies give you 3 or 4 years contracts. You don't want to get involved in that. You move, you still got to pay it, and they will collect from you. They will try to collect from you. I had to. A guy almost sued me over internet, and I had to take the piece of paper physically down there for the 10th time and say, here is a copy of my internet bill, and here is the verification that they pulled it out and the bill was paid. But yet you're trying to dun me 30, 40, 50,000 peso. But that's what they do. Be careful. Environmental concerns. The deployment of thousands of satellites in low Earth orbit causes environmental concerns. Space debris, impacts on observations, other satellites. They say they're not high enough. You can actually see them in the stars at night. When you're outside, you can actually see them, they say. I've not seen them. So I would really just be very careful on that. Competition, depending on your location, you may have access to other broadband options which give you similar or better performance at low cost. Like I said, we found a guy where we're at locally, but he does not, where I'm at now, that's locally in the house in Maramuk. I'm not in Maramuk, so I'm right now using data. So, and luckily we bought a plan through Gomo, which is Globe, and they have good plans at Globe right now. My friend Tom was telling me that I think it's 1,000 peso, but you have to pay an installation fee of 2,000 or 3,000 peso. That's pretty good, 20 bucks a month. So ultimately, wherever you buy Starlink depends on your needs and circumstances. It's important to weigh the advantages and disadvantages. I say a lot of times you really have to sit down and look at it more in detail. You just really don't know. I know for me, it's something that I've been trying to work on for almost 3 years or 4 years, and I never could get it to the next step. That is the outdoor unit right there. I never could find a good company, but luckily the PLDT salesman gave me this guy, which buys they buy blocks of internet. Like he'll buy a block of internet, like I'm just going to say 1 million gig, and he'll buy a block of Converge 1 million gig per month, and he'll buy all those, and then he services like 4 or 5 major cities here, and everything is powered back up with solar. So I'm never out of internet. If it, say, electric goes out, as long as I have solar to keep the modem going, and he has solar, I got internet all the time. And if thing goes down, I just text him, hey, system's down. He said, ah, okay. He gets on his computer, he changes it to Converge or whomever it is, and I'm back up. It runs about 300 up and down. Better than in the United States, for some reason. When I was back in the States, I had a hard time getting internet. And to be honest with you, there is a plan through Globe that I actually use data and roaming there in the States. And I had it for 14 days. I think it cost $10 international. And Globe, I use Globe in the United States. It worked fine. Fine. It worked better than T-Mobile and Verizon and AT&T and all that. I don't know what they do, but I had internet, and that's all I care about. It was running good. I think I was getting about 15 up and down when I did a test on it. I did it at my brother's house. He had internet, but he had a problem with the modem, and they were going to come replace it because it got hit by lightning or something, and we had no internet. So they just hotspotted off my internet, and mine was unlimited, so it didn't matter. So him and his wife worked the laptop, and it ran fine on all of them until they came out in the next couple of days. So just take your time on the internet. It will drive you crazy, especially if you got to do work, or you got to get to your bank, or you got to send money, or something like that. So just plan for that. It is very important. I want to thank everybody for always watching my videos, and thank you so much. So hopefully you guys will like this. God bless.